President, this week a man named Keonne Rodriguez is going to federal prison for creating crypto privacy software. The case was started under the Biden administration, but your DOJ kept it going and secured the conviction. A lot of people in crypto are saying that this man should be pardoned. Are you familiar with the case at all, or would you be interested
I've
in
heard
looking
about
at
it. I'll look at it. Why, you think he should be pardoned? Sounds like it. Sounds like, based on your question.
Many people in the
Rodriguez, we'll look at that, Pam. Okay, let's take a look at it. You'll have to tell me. I don't know anything about it, but we'll take a look.
That's, incredibly optimistic. He sounded like he believes you're innocent. I believe you're innocent.
I think it was optimistic for sure. I've seen a lot of Q&A with President Trump. He takes press questions quite often, and he has really no issue in not answering a question or blowing a question off if he's not interested in talking about it. This clip was like 37 seconds or 35 seconds. That's a lot of time for the president to spend on a question if he wasn't interested in what it was about. So, I think it's on his radar now. And that's really the whole point of the last week and some of all the press, all the podcasts, all the recordings, everything was how do we get the president's attention? Because I said it yesterday on X, but I truly believe with the president's attention, we have a pretty good shot, right? The president has experienced lawfare. He has experienced a weaponized Department of Justice. They have gone after him. So he knows it when he sees it. And if he looks at our case, he will see it again, just like he saw it with himself. So I think cautious optimism is warranted. This is a truly incredible development. And I'm very thankful to the reporter from Decrypt who asked the question to bring it to the president's mind, and president delegating his attorney general to look into it.
Was that a complete surprise, or was there any indication?
Totally.
Wow, that had to be
total surprise.
Completely up.
And this, people have asked me, like, why are you spending so much time doing all of these recordings and this press and these podcasts? And I've told them I'm walking through every single door that opens. I'm not going to sit in a cell wondering, did I do enough? Right. And so early last week, or even maybe the week before that, someone, a reporter from Decrypt, asked me, hey, I'm writing a written article. Would you like to be interviewed for it? It's not going to be only about you, but you could be featured in it. And I said, absolutely, let's talk. And we had a great discussion. I told him about the case. He wrote his article. It was a good article. It's on Decrypt if anyone wants to read it. And it just turns out that this reporter, who I never spoke to before and didn't know, is also a White House correspondent for Decrypt. And he's the one who asked the president that question. So, you walk through every single door that opens. If I hadn't have done the Bitcoin veteran space with Bob, I never would have met Jesse. And this whole movement that has sprung up very organically, like Jesse said, is all because I did that one Twitter space, and it's really, it's important to walk through every door that opens. And I'm so glad that I have. And it's really culminated to this moment where we have so many people helping. Like Jesse said, there's a whole team of people. These are highly educated, highly trained, very effective people. Had I had to pay for their expertise, I would be even more debt than I am right now. But here that, you're seeing them pop up now. These people have donated their time and their energy and their resources into this movement, and I can't thank them enough.
Angela McArdle, thank you for hopping on.
Hey, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
How did you kind of get linked to this cause, and what inspired you to kind of get behind it?
Well, after Ross Ulbricht was freed, a lot of people came out of the woodwork to me asking me if I can help them. It's a really surreal experience to have someone approach you or their wife or whoever and be like, hey, can you help me get out of prison? It's like, I don't really fully know how to articulate it. And so, I've been trying so hard to get Ian Freeman a presidential pardon. He's a Bitcoiner who was locked in federal prison in New Hampshire. And then I met Tor Eklund, who is the attorney for Roman Sterlingov, and he's like, can you work with Sterlingov? And I'm like, yeah, and then just like straight to the DOJ. And I'm like literally on my way to visit the pardon attorney's office. And people are like, don't forget Samouri wallet. Don't forget Roman Storm. And I'm like, okay, send me everything. I just start calling people's attorneys and I'm like, are you guys talking to each other? And it's like, no, everybody's really siloed. So I was like, oh, we gotta communicate. Like we gotta link arms. So it's just kind of like, it's just irresistible when an innocent person is like, can you help me get out of prison? What do you say? Like, you don't say no. The answer is absolutely. I really feel like God just kind of like pushed me into this role. Like a few years ago, I was running for chair of the National Libertarian Party. I'm talking with Tom Woods and some other libertarian thought leaders on it. And they're like, Angela, why are you, this seems kind of like crazy. And like, is this productive? And I was like, I don't really know how to articulate it. I don't know that it's about the Libertarian Party, but I feel like God is putting me here so I can do something important. And this is what that is.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, I just want to say that I knew about Angela. I knew what she had done for Ross. I didn't think I had a chance in hell of even talking to Angela, imagining how busy she must be. And it was Angela who reached out to me and said, let's work together. I want to help you. It was right after my sentencing. It was probably one of the worst days of my life. And Angela reached out to me and said, let's talk. And she's just been absolutely instrumental. Really, really a smart woman, great brain for strategy, and truly cares about the cause of freedom. And that comes out through, everything she's done. And if she's done nothing other than get Ross pardoned, that's enough for me. Like that's what a huge result that is. So yeah, thank you for all your help, Angela.
You're welcome. And praying, fingers crossed, all of the above, that we can make something happen, by Friday, if not at least before Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
Larry, thank you for joining us. Would you like to say something?
Sure. Well, first of all, Keonne, I hadn't met you before, but I have enormous respect for what you've done and the fight that you're in, because I feel like you're a warrior for freedom, and that's what we really all are. Bitcoin's not about number go up. Bitcoin's about fixing the world, as my book talked about, and you're right there on the front line. And so, tons and tons of respect, as really respect for everybody on this call. Angela, Jesse, Puncher, Efrat, Charlie. It's funny. Charlie and I were on a stage together. I believe that's Charlie. Charlie, am I identifying you correctly? Is that Charlie Shrem there in the final box?
No.
No. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay. That was Charlie Shrem.
Pretend it is.
Yeah. In any case, my mistake. Look, I just think what's happened here is a tragedy, and hopefully it can be set right. I think that obviously the reporter did you a real incredible solid, and my sense is that Trump's not a stupid man, and that once he's briefed on this, there really is no legal case here. I mean, if writing software were illegal, it's protected under the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and that's really all you've done. As I think and I talked about, I think in chats with some people on, what I think happened here is more than anything else, the rhetoric got you in trouble. It reminds me a lot of a case Bernard von Nauthaus did a similar thing back in the 2005-2008 timeframe with something called the Liberty Dollar, and he was very anti-dollar, anti-fiat currency, and he created an alternative, and they decided to make an example out of him. And I think that's really what's happened here. But there's no legal basis for what they're doing, and so I'm extremely confident that you will be vindicated. I hope you don't have to spend one night in jail, but you might, it sounds like. But I can't imagine you're going to spend a lot of time in jail based on once the facts come out, and if the groundswell here is overwhelming, we're going to be in a position where Trump's just not going to be able to not pardon you. So my hat's off to Puncher, who really took the lead on this, and Jesse. You know, and you as well, Angela, took the lead on this and went out and, you know, got this whole thing going. I mean, it's, you know, it's a credit to this community, and we should try and continue to spread the word. I know the Minute Puncher came out with his epic rant, and, you know, and things like the fact that he was an F-16 pilot, you know, served in the military. I mean, that kind of stuff that resonates with a Trump, right? I mean, here we got legitimate, you know, honest, hardworking Americans who are MAGA to the core, and who can see that, you know, lawfare is being, you know, practiced against one of their friends. You know, I think a few of those, if he sees that video clip, you're out. So we got to just hope he sees that video clip. You know, I'm praying that you will be out soon, but you know, if you're not out, so be it. That might be the path you have to walk through. But you know, some people criticize you for taking the plea deal. I don't criticize you at all. I think you had to take the plea deal. I mean, you know, the taking the risk of you know, bigger fine and all the time made no sense whatsoever. And I mean, the absolute worst case, if you had to serve out your sentence here, I can't even imagine that you'd be behind bars for 5 years. It would probably be commuted to something significantly less. And let's pray that doesn't happen. So, you know, nothing but respect for what you did and for the way you fought this, you know, calmly and intelligently. And I hope we have a good outcome. That's all I can say.
I mean, let's not forget he's already under home arrest, so time has already been served. This is unjust time's already been served.
Yeah.
I want to throw it to Kevin Kelly, really influential puncher, and just kind of promoting this and bringing this to a lot of people and putting some sort of motivation behind it. Thank you for joining us. What are your thoughts on?
Thanks, Ed. I just, you know, Jesse, credit to him. We heard about this, and I hate injustice, particularly in my own country. And the more I heard about Keonne's situation and Bill's, I was just like, man, this can't stand. And I learned in the military that if I had a problem that was a small problem that wasn't getting addressed, I just turned it into a big problem, and then I turned it into everybody's problem. So just started screaming about it and going on my, you know, crazy Irish rant about what happened. And the more I looked into it, what I wanted to make sure was that if I asked, you know, Jeff and Larry and other folks who have built, you know, a reputation and a platform it's valuable, that for sure we vetted Keonne's story out. So we did that. And like a soldier, man, he came up on Bitcoin today. He answered every question. And the more I heard, the more outrageous the situation became. But, you know, there was a lot of people like backbenchers on Twitter and things were saying, oh, you don't understand, these guys are this, that, and the other thing. I would immediately say, we're going to give you head of the line privileges. You can speak to Keonne on Bitcoin today. And to a person, they all kind of wimped out. Not one of them showed up, which told me we're on the right path. And then I felt comfortable going out to the Bitcoin network, which is just amazing, by the way. And a lot of people stand up on stage at conferences and things and talk about Bitcoin, but it's more than just number go up. It's a community, and, you know, we're going to be the future judges and magistrates when this all happens. And I believe that. But then to kind of stand in the sidelines when you have that stage, like, if you're not going to step up, and a lot of people didn't initially. Larry, to his credit, jumped in right away, said, and a lot of others, you know, they really just showed me that what good, honest, decent people they are. And some people stayed in the background a little bit, and I get that, but some people refused to do anything, and that was very disappointing. So to those people, next time you get up on a stage, just talk about number go up, and don't feed us the rest of that BS, because when the time came to stand up, you didn't do it. To the women of Bitcoin, Sharon, Shannon, Angela, Lynn, it's just the women in Bitcoin are amazing. I know I'm leaving somebody out. Shannon, Natalie Brunel.
Natalie Efrat.
The women.
Efrat.
I mean, the women in Bitcoin, small in number, you know, relative to the men, were just amazing. Like, they just came right out, no questions asked. We're on board, and they're so talented, and I'm just extremely privileged to know them and count them as friends, as everybody on this space. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Amazing. Cheers.
Yeah, for sure.
To the women in Bitcoin.
Cheers. I drink, but I got a glass of water. I'll drink a glass of water. I'm at a lacrosse practice right now.
Me too. We got water.
Naomi Brockwell too.
Seb Bunny.
Yes.
Thanks for jumping on.
Cool.
You got
Nice
love
to see
and support
everyone.
for Keonne? It's nice to see you.
Yeah, no, honestly, more than anything, and I apologize if I cough, I've picked up a bit of a cold, but more than anything, like, Keonne, I think I'm sure I speak for like thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that have never met you personally, that have never had these conversations, that are in the shadows, that are absolutely like behind your back. And I think that like the age of the internet, the ability to be able to communicate and share a message is truly profound. And so I think it's incredible what it is that you've done. And I think that it really is like a beacon of light in a world that at times can be quite dark. And I think ultimately there's that saying in Bitcoin, like, we are all Satoshi. Like, there is no central kind of planner for Bitcoin. There is no marketing department. Bitcoin success falls on kind of the shoulders of all of us as individuals. And I just think that it takes a ton of courage to be able to stand up, even when there is a lot of opposition and a world that could be kind of against us at many times, and to be able to honor what it is that we believe in, because I think that that's how we move towards a better world. And so I think it is absolutely incredible what it is you're doing and what you have done. And you've got the absolute backing for myself, and I'm sure I speak for thousands of others when I say that you've got their backing as well. And I really just urge anyone kind of listening to this, again, like, Bitcoin's success falls on us as individuals. So it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a mountain bike instructor, a cafe worker, you speak to a unique cohort of individuals, and to share that voice. Don't self-censor because of a world that kind of intimidates people. Like, don't self-censor, because that's how we move towards a world of prosperity. I truly believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hear, hear. Thank you very much.
Well, everyone, please scan the QR code, sign the petition if you haven't already done so. Brandon Keys, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Unfortunately, it's I wish it was under better circumstances that we're meeting Keonne, but just to echo Seb Bunny's point, I mean, I think we're seeing the strength of the community now to really come out and get this in front of the president. And I mean, I'm pretty optimistic. I mean, it seems like it's a movement here, and I think everybody rallying around is really encouraging to me. And seeing you in high spirits as well, Keonne, I mean, just seeing the snowball effect from the community has been, I think it just really says a lot about the Bitcoin community in general. And it's been really inspiring. And to see you in high spirits, honestly, is very encouraging. But I think, hopefully at this point we can get this message loud enough and get people, rallied around the cause enough in order to have you not spend a single night in jail, because I think that would be a huge injustice, to say the very least. So, I mean, whatever we can all do to help at least spread the message and hopefully get it to the right ears, I think, I'm here to do. And I mean, Cedric and everybody else here on here, and we listed off a lot of the women in Bitcoin already. All you guys helping elevate this message. Let's hope we can continue to do that and get it to the right people for sure.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
I just want to say to Seb and Larry, you kind of touched on something I think that's important. Larry, you mentioned that my rhetoric. Yeah, I haven't even made my point yet.
We got someone scan the QR
code. That my rhetoric may have contributed to this. And I think that's true to an extent, right? I mean, I was and am brash and on Twitter and make my opinion known, even if it's popular or unpopular. And I think that's a good thing. Everything I said, I meant, and it was authentic, or I was making a joke, which there was plenty of those as well. And I don't regret any of that. But it's also not the only reason, right? I think it just made their lives a little easier, right? They could take a tweet that I said, welcoming Russian oligarchs, and really twist that out and squeeze out all the context. And, you get some droll prosecutor standing up and reading it in a dull voice with no inflection, and it sounds kind of bad. But that, when you look at someone like Roman Storm, who created Tornado Cash, he didn't do any of that. He didn't have any brash tweets. He didn't have things like that to take out of context. He was pretty clean cut, and they still went after him. So I think really what it comes down to is, if you build something that that works, for one, and gets a lot of use, and you fall into their cross sites, they're coming for you. If they want to take you down, they are going to take you down no matter what. So the fact that I had those tweets just made it easier for them. But it wasn't because of the tweets, I don't think. Maybe it was.
I would
don't
agree
think
with
so.
you, and I compliment you for those tweets. I mean, if tweets can get you thrown in jail, I'm right on the edge. Okay, so I'll see you. I'll see you there.
Yeah, you know,
I'll see you there if we don't get
squeeze it.
pardoned. I mean,
You know,
look, I mean, to call if people are evil liars, which basically a lot of the government is, these people are evil criminal liars, and we call them such, and they take offense to it and decide to jail us. Well, fuck them. I mean, that, you know, that's America, right? We've got the ability to call things as we see them. Now they can disagree with us, but they can't use lawfare to throw us in jail over it. And don't interpret my comments as in any way meaning I think you should
no,
your
I
rhetoric, because I loved your rhetoric.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think they use that at the margin to say, oh, look at this. We really got a guy, we can nail him both ways here. You know, he not only is doing something that makes our life more difficult, which, your thing does, as does Roman's thing, but he's also saying he's clearly on the other side of the fence. And so let's go get him.
We've seen, this is what the president went through. It's the same playbook.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And, they made a big song and dance about the Russian oligarchs and this and that, but they really made a big song and dance when I called members of Congress sickos, quote unquote sickos, for inventing the crime of money laundering in the late 70s. And what I said was factually accurate. They did invent a new crime. That was not a crime prior to Congress saying it's a crime. And then they invented a new crime called structuring when they realized that people were getting around the new crime by transacting just under $10,000. So they had to make that a crime. And I called them sickos. And boy, did they make a song and dance about that in the courtroom. And even the judge had something to say about that. But I stand by it. You're inventing crimes. You're a sicko. There's no victim in this
There's
crime.
legislation right now that's, we'll see if it passes or not, to ban congressional insider trading. So, it all just sounds, it's just so transparent and one-sided.
Hey,
but
Keonne.
they do take your tweets and they will twist and turn them and make your tweets criminal intent, which I guess is a cap in my feather. I have criminal tweets.
Hey, Keonne. By the way, is that the correct way to pronounce your name, Keonne?
It is.
Okay, because I heard people call it Keonne. I'm like, man, maybe I'm calling them the wrong thing.
No.
Yeah, I kind of, the first night we talked, I really wanted to highlight the fact that this was the SDNY. And I got to imagine that the president, has some measure of revenge he wants to exact on these people who tried to destroy his life. And that's why I brought it up in my rant there. But, dude, I just want to say I'm going to go be a good dad now. My son's out there trying out for a lacrosse team. But, if you do have to go in for a little bit, don't just know that we got your back. We'll find out where you are. We'll make sure you're taken care of. I'll pull any strings that I could possibly pull. Not that I have that many, but being loud and making sure that you're taken care of. We got you. And the one message we wanted to send is that we are not to be trifled with in the Bitcoin community. I think we proved that we will exact some measure of political or other kind of price if you try to come after one of ours. And dude, I'm really impressed with you. When you're out, whatever you're doing next, I want to be a part of that if that's an opportunity. And I'm just super impressed by you, your demeanor, how you're handling this. You're a soldier, buddy, and I'd be in a foxhole with you anytime. So
thank you very much.
Really
Thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, guys, I'll be listening in. I'm sure there's other people. I think Marty Bent's waiting and stuff. So thank you guys, and I'm listening in, but thanks.
Thank you, Punch. Hey, Sid, maybe that's the time for should we sort of shuffle and I can drop? I know there's a lot of other people, or what did you want to do?
Yeah, let's shuffle a few around just so that we can get some new blood in. But
yeah.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, let me just say one thing before I drop as well. Let me sing the praises of Puncher, who just dropped. He, I think, is an incredible person. Just leave it at that. No context needed. Just an incredible person. Right. And I think there's so many incredible humans that are coming around this. And the reason is that this is deeper than Bitcoin, deeper than Keonne, deeper than me, deeper than any of us on this stage. And we all feel it. and it's really about our rights, our personal human rights. So thank you, everybody. Keonne, love you, buddy. You and I are in touch, and yeah, just proud of you. So we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Thank you for all your help.
I
Thanks,
just
Ken.
wanted to add one more quick little thing, which was I can't imagine the situation you're in right now. And I'm sure when you're in this situation, sometimes you can question yourself and whether or not, should I have shown up differently? Should I have done something differently? And I think that more than anything, what this highlights is this has got nothing to do with you. I think that you've been in the crosshairs of a system that doesn't tolerate people trying to promote privacy. And I think that the way I write about and the way that I view money is a medium of expression. It's how we express to the world what we value. The system does not like money flowing to where value is being created. They want to be able to govern those trajectories. And anytime someone opens up tools for money to flow to where value is being created, all of a sudden the antibodies come out. And I think that you've just been caught in that crossfire. And so I hope more than anything, you're not taking too much, retrospective thought on your actions and how you could have done things differently, because I think this has got nothing to do with you, and what you're doing for the community is very much needed.
Well said.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I thought a lot about this, if I regret anything or if I would have done something differently. And I've come to the conclusion that no, I don't have a single regret. I'm proud of what I've built. I'm proud of the legacy I'll leave. And that, like you said, it's I could have been completely different, the most meek and mild and anonymous person. And had I built what I built, they would have still come after it. Because you're absolutely right. Freedom of speech. Transacting is one of the purest forms of speech, as far as I can see it. And they have spent decades slowly chipping away at the basic fundamental privacy that we have enjoyed throughout history when it comes to our finances. They have now inserted themselves deep into our financial lives. They want to know every transaction we're making, where we're spending it, are we paying tax on it, what is it you're buying, why are you buying it, who are you donating to, all of that. And they have slowly been successful in inserting themselves into that part of our lives. And when all we did was create software that took back a little bit of that sovereignty that we once had. And this was the reaction we got out of it. So I think it's an apt analogy to the antibodies being activated. The antibodies of the state being activated against the software that they really didn't like. So yeah, thank you for that comment. I think you're absolutely right.
Thanks, Keonne.
I'm gonna jump out too to help with the changing of the guard. I just want to reiterate, we all support you. And we're praying so hard, and that we can see something happen before Friday. And that President Trump he's so generous. Of what he told me when I asked for Ross Ulbricht's freedom is he said, "I love freeing people." So just keep that in your mind and don't give up hope. And for the people out there, if you want to support, don't hesitate. Never hesitate. If you're thinking about helping someone out and you feel spiritually or morally convicted, listen to that voice, jump in, because you have an opportunity to change the world. So yeah, everybody, please sign the petitions, pay attention to all the Bitcoin prisoners. And, whether you're praying on your knees or silently in your head, you're not sure if God's real, whatever, just ask the president, ask the Lord. We got to ask the community, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
Thanks,
good night, everyone.
Right on. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you so much for joining us and getting out the word. Marty Bent, thank you for joining us. And actually, thank you so much for being one of the first big interviewers of Keonne. You guys I listened to the interview, and it seemed like, you've done so many episodes before bringing him on to talk directly, but you guys have done content before. What does this mean to you, and what kind of love and support do you have for Keonne tonight?
Number one, thanks for having me, Cedric. I mean, it's hard to describe. I mean, not only have I been a long time user and supporter of Samouri Wallet, Matt and I talked about it at during RHR almost weekly when you guys were building out the product over the course of 6 years that we were doing the show before a couple of years ago. But not only that, I mean, 1031 we were investors in Samurai Wallet, so we saw it as an incredible, useful tool in business that is necessary. And that's one thing I think about with this case, particularly, is the sort of a chilling effect that it has for people who want to leverage the native technology that is Bitcoin, the protocol, to build unique banking and payments infrastructure outside of the purview of the incumbent banking system. And I think it's extremely disheartening that we're at this point, but I am optimistic that that this wrong will be righted. No, that's what I mean. I think Keonne, we've known each other for quite a while now, and I think but I want to express to everybody else that I think these were the true cypherpunks. Like I have the Wired magazine issue from the PGP wars back in the 90s, and I think this is very analogous to what was going on back then. I think it's safe to say that this privacy war that we're having with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is our version of the PGP wars. And these cypherpunks on the cover behind me were successful in their battle, and I think we'll be successful too. It's just going to come with a fight.
If you were to, I can't imagine this standing, and I'm optimistic, but if this were to stand, Marty, what kind of trajectory does this put Bitcoin and privacy on?
Not a great one if the chilling effect is successful. And I was thinking about this. I'm actually putting my interview out. I want to ask Keonne a question. Like I've been saying this, and I think there's a case to be made for exchanges to implement something like PayJoin because it's just simply efficient transaction batching technology that just so happens to make the ability to track UTXOs a bit harder for people using common input heuristics.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, Keonne.
I mean, I would hope.
I don't want to go deep into a transaction analysis heuristic discussion because that will bore the pants off of everyone. But I agree, Marty. I think that would be a pretty simple win for destroying the common input ownership heuristic, which is one of the primary heuristics that chain analysis and chain surveillance firms still use to this day. And it's not a very reliable heuristic, and it's certainly shouldn't be being used as evidence in court cases, which it is. But the more we can undermine that heuristic, the better. And that's what Samurai Wallet really was all about: undermining heuristics, introducing doubt to a public ledger. And that's what makes it even more ludicrous that the DOJ went this route, because that's what we're talking about here, right? We're not talking about a company that took custody of anyone's funds and did things with it. We're talking about a software product that used math to introduce doubt to the blockchain. And that's what the DOJ has said is a financial service. And that's what the DOJ said should have applied for a money transmitter's license, even though the regulator in charge of money transmission said that's not necessary.
Bob, as you know, there's been some talk that this might lead to money transmission being required from miners. What are your thoughts on this? And love to hear your thoughts for Keonne.
Yeah, first, Keonne, I don't think we've ever met. Bob Burnett.
Hi, nice to meet you.
From Barefoot Mining, also on the board of directors at Ocean. And it's first, I thought, for those who weren't at the very beginning, I was here when you first came on. I thought you gave some really good advice. I'd encourage people to rewind, where you talked about what people can do to protect themselves. That said, I do want to say I think it's important as well that not that people go to prison or go through what you've gone through, but I think it's important for some of the community to be out there. Like some people have to be real. I think there's something to be said for that. And Larry was on earlier. Larry's a real good friend of mine, and I think one of the things that we can do as older members of the community, get into your 60s or so, your kids are grown. you have a little less to lose maybe. And so I think it's maybe a little easier for some of us to be front and center to what's going on. And to be honest, I've had this conversation with my wife, like, as a miner, and I'm both a miner and a guy with tentacles into a pool too. And I look at it and go, well, if they can come after Keonne, there's really no reason they can't come after me, because I'm, especially as a guy who creates his own templates and makes transaction selections. But I'm not asking for this, but I would say I'm doing something that's probably closer to the line than anything that you ever did. And I think it's just an absolute travesty that you're taking this. Like I said, I'm not wishing it upon myself, but I wish they would have come after me or somebody like me instead of you, because I think it would have tested it better. But it's just such bullshit. But I do think we have to be prepared. Thank God Trump won, because I could see where the Biden administration was rearing up. Like they were absolutely rearing up to come after the mining community. In fact, I remember I was in a room in Texas about 2 years ago, and we had a little meeting with mining CEOs, and Ted Cruz came into the room to meet with us. There was maybe like 7, 8 of us, and he as he walked in the room, he's taking off his sport coat, and before he even sits down, he says, "Hey, before I say anything, guys, I just want you to know that of all the people in the U.S., the Biden administration hates you guys more than anybody." Like it was like, wow, okay, not surprised, but very, very telling.
Yeah,
So
they were open about it. They were very open about it.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
one point, they wanted to get a sort of minute list of the energy source, who you were buying it from, how much you were spending on it, what the cost was, and I mean, they wanted to KYC your energy at that point.
Yeah,
I think that they wanted to
those
extend that
surveys
to
went
block
out.
templates.
Yeah, those surveys went out, and I think it was Warren and Granholm, who were Secretary Granholm from the Department of Energy, and they were just in such obvious cahoots trying to make that whole thing happen. It was just ridiculous.
Marty, I'd love to ask you. I mean, actually, people, please scan the QR code, sign a petition. Marty, does this case kind of affect you maybe as a father, or like thinking about your kids? I mean, my son's 13 years old. He loves to code. I'm trying to explain this case to him. It brings in politics. It brings in computer science. But for me, I think about sort of their freedom and sort of, that. Does this affect you as a father, thinking about your kids?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, my kids are a bit younger, but my oldest, he's almost 6, so he's getting to the point where he can read and do math and understands things and is curious and is exploring his curiosity. And I look at him and the other 2 boys and think, what world are you going to live in? And I mean, the oldest too, he does chores for Bitcoin, and he has an eCash wallet which uses blinded signatures and is private digital cash. I guess he'll be looked at as a criminal as a 5-year-old getting 5,000 sats every time he cleans his room. I think it is crazy to think that an app that my 5-year-old uses and gets a lot of value out and is learning a lot about Bitcoin using it could be viewed as a criminal app or criminal activity in the eyes of the law, which is objectively insane. But it's funny. I think you have to like highlight these examples, and it's Bitcoin is just simply a technology, be leveraged by anyone. And I think we're at a point in time where we really need to get over the hill of this sort of negative connotation of using Bitcoin, particularly using it in a specific way, or certain wallets like Samouri or an eCash wallet that give you privacy, and being looked at as a criminal. It's just objectively insane. Like I was saying earlier, we have the primitives to build out a new banking and payment system that is completely separate from the incumbent system, which is archaic. And that's an incredible potential. I mean, we have two paths we can go down. We can cuck the world and try to corral Bitcoin into this hyper centralized surveilled system, or we literally have the ability to build a sci-fi banking system from scratch. And when I look at my boys, it's like I hope they're able to live in the latter reality, and they're able to help contribute to that.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.